I was releasing something that was like, no, you can buy this now, like someone would launch something and be like, buy this and we'll hire people to make a comic. Maybe it'll come out in 2 years. And I was launching something saying, you can read the comic right now because I spent 10 years making all this stuff. And it was just kind of like, whoa, what are you talking about? Like, what? I don't understand. And so there was like a weird like misconception just because everyone was treating it like a Kickstarter and I was treating it more like sales distribution.
So when you made your avatars, each one was handmade. Each one was hand kind of rendered and thought about and designed, which also sort of doesn't move against the trend, but there's kind of the generative art 5, 10, 15, 20,000 projects, and then there's the one of one, kind of much small batch handmade, and you sort of combine those two. What made you want to create all of these characters?
I probably didn't know what I was getting into, but I was just like, yeah, 1,000, sure, that seems achievable. And like with the graphic novel, like, oh yeah, graphic novel, that seems easy. Like, but then you kind of get into it and you're like, wow, this is way more work. But I've committed to it. Let's just see it through. And so a lot of it was just more of like maybe my naivety.
But I think this also represents a little bit that I'm finding in this space is that the timelines have just gotten insane. Everything is expected in such a fast turnaround time. If you look at the gap between Star Wars 1 and Star Wars 2, it was
Yeah,
like a few years and everyone was happy with that. And now we look at Disney owns it and the turnaround time is 1 year. They're kind of turning it around. And if Disney got into NFTs, the expectation would probably be every 2 months or every 3 months. We're expecting something as epic and as large. How do you think about sort of the quality and craft and intention you've built into the brand, and balance that against the pace and speed that this world seems to want to
sure.
consume things
I mean,
at?
it's always a problem, right? I mean, like even in the game industry, like Fortnite came out and set the pace of like you need to do something every like 5 minutes, basically. Like there's the pace they run at is amazing, but then there was other studios like Respawn or something with Apex Legends where they kind of push back on this. We're like, we're gonna take our time. You won't get stuff as frequently, but the health of our team is paramount. Like we don't want everyone to like be
Hmm.
killing themselves and dying
Die.
in 2 weeks or something. And I don't really maybe Fortnite also kind of like paced it a bit, but like I feel like I haven't heard people complaining because I remember initially people were complaining a lot about where's the new thing, where's the new thing, but I feel like it's kind of settled into a certain pace and gamers and everyone is pretty happy with it's just like, oh, I'm just going to play and have fun with this game and then oh, the new season comes out, cool, great. Like it feels like if you just set the rules and push back a bit if you have to, because ideally people want to be playing these games and in these universes forever and not 2 weeks because everyone kind of like burnt out the team from demanding too much. So I think a lot of it is just finding a healthy balance and being open with your communities and telling them like, well, I want this to be as high quality as possible. I just need time to make sure this looks great, and I'm not going to release something that I don't feel is of the quality that it should be. Um, and if it's the higher the quality, the happier everyone will be. Maybe if there's some short term like frustration, I think long term it's worth the wait because the quality will just be there, and
Mm.
you can only it'll be there forever. Like you want to make sure to do a good job.
It's almost like you are taking control and saying, well, we're going to set the pace. We're going to set, and if you like this project, you can follow along at that pace. And if you don't like it, you can find another project because there's many other projects that are going at a different speed than this one is. But I think you value quality and craft and the
Hmm.
story over pace to market seems more
Yeah, and if you
important.
rush,
You
if you rush, like mistakes happen, right? And there have been some like extremely fatal mistakes some teams have made because they move too fast. Like whether that's mistakes in the smart contract, mistakes in art or something, and you know, it's better to do things the right way and of a high quality, I feel, than rush something out the door and make a critical mistake that completely ruins everything, you know?
That you were saying when you launched with Huxley, you had obviously been working for 10 years and you had something that existed, something tangible that was already there. So when people were buying it, you weren't promising them something down the line. You were like, there's an actual thing. And you found that people were almost taken aback at that, and almost the dream of something in the future was more alluring than the reality of, I've got a finished project for you. All you have to do is buy this thing. Can you talk about how being in the opposite of the market was both a good thing and a strange thing for you when you launched?
All the work was done. I'm not still making the next issue. You don't have to wait like 6 months for me to finish the next like I finished everything before I launched the product, which we kind of talked about. Like to me, that's the logical. That's just how things are done. You make a product, and then you sell the product. But I feel like a lot of stuff in Web3 is reverse, where it's just like, here's some art. Maybe I'll make a product if you give me money. And I feel like that's not the best recipe or set up for success long term if the team isn't equipped to like spend those 10 years to develop this into something. I felt like there was definitely like it's almost like an education moment of just like everyone was releasing. It was almost more like a Kickstarter, like here's a dream of something that might happen someday, and I was releasing something that was like, no, you can buy this now, like someone would launch something and be like, buy this and we'll hire people to make a comic, maybe it'll come out in 2 years. And I was launching something saying, you can read the comic right now because I spent 10 years making all this stuff. And it was just kind of like, whoa, what are you talking about? Like, what? I don't understand. And so there was like a weird like misconception just because everyone was treating it like a Kickstarter, and I was treating it more like sales distribution of something that I had created already.
Hello, YouTube. I'm Ross Drakes. I'm the founder of Nicework, and thank you so much for your time at watching this video. If you're seeing me, it means you made it all the way to the end, so we've at least done something right. If you enjoyed this, we'd love it if you could hit that subscribe button and that thumbs up. It really helps the channel. And I think more important than that is if you know someone who might need to hear this, if you think someone out there who needs this message in their life, please spread the link, because it makes a huge difference to the world, and it allows us to fulfill our message of making sure that there are no more bad brands in the world. Thank you very much, and we'll catch you in the next video.